Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Wander and Prepare. Today I have a really cool knife to show you, and it is from Ice Age Blades. So John and Dimitri were kind enough to send me this knife, so gonna show it to you, put it on the cutting table and show you, but let's go ahead and do a little unboxing here. So really cool, not only made in USA but made specifically in New York. And here is the Slim Scout by Ice Age Blades. So a couple things to point out. This particular version is in AEBL and really good steel, and this one has micarta scales and it's got a texturing on there that is really cool. And just to show you a couple things about his blades, on the other side he puts a little wheel right there, and that means this is one of his production models. If you see like a handprint right there, that means that's actually a handmade knife. So this is one of his production models, and they just started with the Slim Scout actually making swappable scales. So he sent me a couple scales to try out, and I think they are really cool looking, but I like the texturing on the micarta, so I'm keeping the micarta ones on there for now. And now let's go ahead and show you. This is the sheath that it comes in. Super thick, super good quality. It is a belt sheath. That's my only negative or drawback to it. But this particular knife and this profile is kind of what they call a bird and trout knife. So it is kind of made for that thin, slicey task, delicate task, but also like small game processing for like fish, birds, and things like that. But I don't just like using a knife for the sole purpose it was designed for. I think a knife is a tool and can be used for many other things, which is why we're going to put it through all the cutting tests and just see how it does. So at the end I will go ahead and show their card, but here's real quick. John and Dimitri are the two owners, and there's their contact information. Really cool knives. And just to give you an idea of the name and kind of why they come up with Ice Age Blades, so they're actually known for putting raw or unique materials on their handle scales, in particular like mammoth tooth and mammoth scales. So that's kind of where they come up with Ice Age Blades. So taking something from the Ice Age and kind of put it into their blades. Now this one is not, it just has the micarta scales, but also this is a very inexpensive knife, just below $200. So they do make a Magna Cut version of it. Really cool, probably one I'd opt for if I was purchasing it. But AEBL, very good steel, stainless steel. So let's just put it on the table and see how it does. So let's go ahead and start out with a paper test and see how good of a slicer it is. I actually have not cut anything with this knife since I have gotten it. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the paper test and see how it slices. I think we can all agree it is pretty insanely sharp. It is just really fun now. Alright, let's go ahead and get this paper cleared out of here, and let's put it through some more heavy duty tasks. So I'm really excited. Like I said, while this profile is definitely a kind of bird and trout profile, I think this is a perfect knife to EDC. Just the size of it, the slimness of it. Now again, with the belt sheath, I would not use that necessarily for EDC. I don't really like carrying an EDC knife on my belt. But here's another sheath I have. This is actually from a Jack Wolf Vampire Hunter, and I think this is made by Tailored by Cortez. But just want to show you that it fits pretty perfectly in here. So any kind of pocket sheath like that, that's the way I'd carry that. It has a little clip on the back, so you can actually slip it in the pocket. You have like a little lanyard on there, so really easy to pull out and really have it available. So that's kind of the way I would carry this knife. If I was doing it, I would swap it out for a pocket sheath. But let's let all this aside and let's see how it cuts some things. Alright, so let's start with some cardboard. How about that? So I'm curious to see how it does with cardboard too. So again, super small knife, super thin blade stock. Also want to show you too on the other side of it, he has jimping all the way down the blade, so it makes it really easy to kind of choke up on there and put your finger right there, but just really good for that. So let's see how it does with cardboard. I mean, makes easy use of that, and nothing different I would expect from AEBL. Just a little bit of the history of AEBL. This is actually designed for steel and a razor blade, so it actually takes a crazy sharp edge, and just really good steel overall. The only difference between AEBL and MagnaCut, in my opinion, well, not opinion, just facts, MagnaCut is just a little bit stronger, but it also has a little bit better edge retention, which is why I would choose it over AEBL. AEBL has plenty of strength, but when it comes to edge retention, I would definitely choose MagnaCut over it. But super easy to sharpen. I'm not going to say super easy, but not super hard. But as you can see, doesn't struggle at all with cardboard. Alright, so let's step it up. Let's go ahead and do some of the Titan Survivor cord. So go ahead and show you guys, this is what makes this so difficult to cut. So if you will look on here, it actually has a wire snare right there, and that's what makes this so hard to cut. Most knives do well when I'm cutting it from this angle. Go ahead and do that. You can feel that just a little bit right there. Feel it grab a hold of that wire. But where they really struggle is when I'm trying to cut it on the table like this. So let's see how this one does. Yeah, like I thought it would, just a little bit. Not made for these type of tasks at all. Struggling quite a bit. But let's just take it. There you go. Goes super easy through it when you're going that way. Just really hard when I'm on like a little surface trying to cut through it. Alright. So now, since that actually struggled just a little bit, I'm really curious to see how it does with the toe strap. So let's first fold it up this way, which I think is going to go through fairly easy because it's pretty slicey. Wow, I'm struggling just a little bit though. There we go. I don't know, maybe it just had a fiber hung up, because boy, once it started cutting, it went through just fine. Make sure, look at that edge. I don't see any issues with it. Nope. Alright, so let's go ahead and see how it does cutting on the table like this. So, if I'm going to say that's where it struggles, is cutting through really thick medium like that. So really struggle with the toe strap. But again, not really what this knife is designed for. Alright, so let's step it up. Let's go ahead and go zip ties, see how it does with that. Whoa, I mean, went through that with absolute ease. So, I think what I'm gathering from this is cutting through these very easy. If it is a stiff, kind of hard like material, I think it's going to slice through it very, very easy. I think where it's struggling with is going to be really thick things like this, that just the smallness of this blade is really going to struggle to get to. So let's see if I'm right with the rest of these tests. I mean, goes through that with absolute ease. We're still pretty small duty zip ties, but going through them with easy. Alright, let's step it up. So, a little bit heavier duty. Went through it with relative ease. Having to put some pressure. Oh, it got all the way through that. I didn't have to put any pressure. It just needed me to pull it off there. Alright, now this is my second heaviest duty zip tie. And, I mean, went through that with absolute ease. So I feel like it's probably going to struggle just a little bit because of the thickness of this, but it's really just going to be me having to press down on it, I think. Getting enough force to do so, but cuts through it. Alright, and this is my heaviest duty zip tie, and if you look at this, it is reinforced on both sides and super thick, so I expect it to actually struggle just a little bit, not because it's not sharp, just because this is so thick and this is such a small knife. But let's see. None whatsoever. So that was actually really, really impressive. I am not going to try to get through this one because I think it's going to hurt my hand to really press through that one. So let's just get on and see how it cuts with other things. So let's see how it does with the clothesline. So this is not clothesline with metal in it. It just has little plastic fibers in it, but pretty hard stuff. But I think it's going to go through it pretty easy. All right. Struggling just a little bit with those tasks, but I think it's just, there we go. If I'm able to press down on it, it goes through it way easier. So, and if you look at my cutting table here, I don't know if you can see that, but like it cuts real deep into the table there. So it's just kind of strange that like it's really struggling with these. I don't know if struggling is the right word, but like it is cutting all the way through it. It's just lacking getting through that last little bitty bit. So kind of weird. See if I can probably even pull that off. There you go. Just those little fibers there. All right. So let's take, this is just a standard nylon rope. Let's see how it goes through that. Curious just because it struggled on a couple of those other things. See how it does through this. Easy. Reason being is this one gives almost no resistance. This is not a heavy duty rope at all, so it cuts through those with absolute ease. Now let's step it up. So now we have, I always call this a radiator hose, but I think I actually read that this may be a fuel hose, but it basically is a reinforced rubber. You see that little reinforcement in there, and you can kind of see the little reinforcement on the edge. So we'll see how it does cutting through that. I think it's going to do just fine with this task. Oh yeah, because it's so thin, it is just slicing through there like crazy, just like butter. So there you go, no problem whatsoever. All right, now based on how everything else has went, I'm a little concerned about cutting through these, but we're still going to give it a whirl and see how it goes. All right, so this is the polypropylene rope. This is the one every knife struggles with. So I'm going to set this on the side, and we're going to see how hard it goes through this one and see if I'm even going to attempt that one. But just look at that edge. No damage on it. All right, let's go ahead, see how it does through this one. We're definitely going to, oh, boy was I wrong. Did y'all see how quick that went through there? That's weird. What I mean by weird is like, why does it cut through that so easy but struggle so much with something like that? That is just beyond interesting. All right, so now we're definitely cutting this one because I want to see how it does. So let's see. Trying not to cut myself in this process. All right. Cutting through it pretty easy. I have to turn it a little bit because the knife's just not all that big, but man, cutting through it really easy actually. So it got through it. I'm just struggling now because I'm down to the end of the table, but if you look at the fibers it did cut, super clean cut through that. So just to show you that it is nothing to do with the dullness of this knife, it is just the size of the knife. We're going to cut a little bit more cardboard. Oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm cutting it on the wrong edge. Sorry. All right. Cut the cardboard this way. Going through there just fine. All right. This is Ice Age blades. This is the Slim Scout. And again, kind of a bird and trout profile, and for that use this would not struggle at all. But some of those tasks like super heavy duty things to cut, not the right tool. That said, I would swap this out, put a deep carry pocket sheet, put it in there, use this as an EDC blade, and just so you guys have John and Dimitri's information, there it is of Ice Age blades. So go check them out. Just can't be thankful enough that John was able to send me this knife for a review. So again, one more look at it. This is the Slim Scout by Ice Age blades. So guys, that's all I have for you today. Just remember, as we're out there wandering and preparing, let's make sure we do so by faith and not by sight. Really curious, so I do all these cutting tests. I'd like your feedback. So what are some things you would like to see me cut? What are some cutting tests you would like to see me do? So with a caveat of, I don't do torture tests. I don't want to cut things that knives aren't really meant to cut. So nothing like that. But what are some standard cutting tasks that you would like to see, just to say, man, that's a really good slicer? So let me know in the comments. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much.